So Victor Wembanyama was the story of the weekend in the NBA. The next great player, right? The best prospect since LeBron. Some scouts are saying he's the best prospect ever. I know you think you know more on social media, but every scout I know, and I've known a lot for a long time, say he's as good as any player ever, barring injury because of his unique size and length. My 3 takes over the weekend were he needs to get stronger. Hopefully he will. Not all skinny bigs get stronger. He needs to get stronger. Second thing is San Antonio has a history developing bigs, so he landed in a really good spot, and he was a little jittery game 1, and that saps your energy. Yeah, it's okay to be nervous at 19 years old for your first job interview, your first big meeting, speaking in front of 500 people for the first time, or your first NBA event that's official. He was nervous, he was jittery, and that saps your energy. But by game 2, he gave you 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. He is already disruptive on the defensive end, and that's really important. I always say this about running quarterbacks. As they're trying to figure out the league, their legs can get them wins. As Wemby is trying to refine his offensive game and get stronger, his defense will be disruptive and a force in the NBA. I've been saying this for years about running quarterbacks. I like a little ability to move because it takes you about 3 years to figure out the league. Folks, he played against men in Europe and crushed. And European basketball is better than our college basketball, and it's not particularly close. Those teams would blow our college teams out by 40, and he was dominant. He also played, his European team played against G League teams a few months ago, twice. He scored 37 and 36 at 19. He's come from a significantly better basketball league than our college league, and he dominated. And oh, by the way, he was jittery in game 1. Of course he is. I've seen Greg Norman on a golf course disintegrate. I've seen Kirk Cousins in primetime games as a grown man disintegrate. It's okay for a 19-year-old in the United States coming to this country being a little nervous in game 1. But his defense will be disruptive. It was in both games. It's going to be his rookie year. His size is unique. He's smart. He's thoughtful. You guys love all these dynamic point guards. Scoot Henderson, he can't shoot. He can score one way. He's big, strong, fast. He's Westbrook. Can he shoot? Maybe he becomes one. But you love John Wall. Y'all love Tebow, and you had film and game and game and game for a guy that couldn't throw. But you had convinced yourself that Tebow was going to be great. Some of you still believe it. Tebow's not an NFL quarterback. I got like 45 games to show you. Either starting or in reserve. Can't make the throws. Wemby has a jittery game 1, and some of you are selling his stock. Listen, it's gonna hurt your feelings. Your dynamic point guards that can't shoot don't win titles. Scoot Henderson, it's not going to lead you to titles. He's just going to be really fun to watch. He's going to make some all-star teams. Going to get rich. I can't wait to watch him. Wemby's going to lead you to titles, sort of like Giannis and Jokic. Embiid hasn't won titles, but the last 5 MVPs are all from abroad, out of the country, foreign-born. Here's a reality, and some of you don't like it, and why you're rooting against him. European bigs are taking over the league. They come in more mature. They come in more skilled. They play against men. Their culture's actually better in developing players sooner than ours. Steve Kerr's already ripped AAU. Greg Popovich probably doesn't love it either. European basketball develops players against men early. This kid's going to win titles. By game 2 in the Summer League, dominant. And his defense is already disruptive, and that will be the key as he tries to get stronger. He needs to put on 10 pounds. It's probably going to take him a year. I've talked about this. If I had Wemby, and the Spurs know what they're doing far more than I do, but if I was the Spurs, I'd play him about 58 games, most of the home games. But when they go on 2- and 3-game road trips, I'd keep him home. I'd let him sleep, lift weights, and eat. I'd do that 4 or 5 different quick 2-game roadies out of San Antonio. They're playing Houston. They're playing the Mavs. Stay home. Reward your home fans. Put weight on. Sit in the weight room for 3 hours a day on those trips. Play them 58 games. Who gives a rip about Rookie of the Year? It doesn't mean anything. I was reading over the weekend, like LeBron James' first Summer League camp was in Boston. He didn't win the MVP. I never heard of the guy that did. Who cares? But he's going to be really good. And some of you don't like it. And you fall in love with the shooting guards out there, and I'm not taking shots at him. I would vote A lot of these point guards that can't shoot, I'd put them in the Hall of Fame. But they don't win titles. Can't trust them in May and June. This kid's going to be great. All right, so I saw this one over the weekend. Interesting story. A question was asked. Do you know Andrew Luck is just about eligible for the Hall of Fame next year? Andrew Luck. You know I love me some Andrew Luck. And I know what you're saying. I mean, Colin, come on. You only played for about 6 years. Brevity of career does not eliminate you. Gale Sayers, 4 great years, made it. Then he had knee injuries. Terrell Davis, 4 great years. Well, Super Bowls, yeah, well, Elway had a lot to do with those too. If you're going to let compilers into all these Hall of Fames, people who were very good and played for a long time, then I'm going to fight for great briefly. A lot of you love compilers, your favorite local player who led the league in doubles 4 times and hit by pitches and played 19 years and was never the best player on his team. Andrew Luck did something I don't think Brady or Patrick Mahomes, Favre, Bradshaw, Aikman could do. He took a horrible roster and went 11-5, 11-5, 11-5. In fact, 4 Pro Bowls in 5 years. They never had a losing season when he was healthy, which is remarkable because according to PFF, the Andrew Luck era had the 28th best defense, the 24th best rushing game, and a bottom 6 offensive line. And he got to the AFC Championship. I don't think Mahomes could do that. And I think Mahomes is amazing. But here's my thing. If we're going to keep fighting for compilers, every time I hear about the Hall of Fame, there's guys and I'm like, they didn't win a game. They weren't worth a point. And not just football. I mean, in baseball, you see it all the time. 26 years of this and not. Sandy Koufax had 6 great years. 3 phenomenal. Nobody has a problem calling him the best pitcher ever. It's not the Hall of really good for a really long time. It's the Hall of Fame. Fame, famous, fame, being great. That's who's famous. Fame, all-time stuff. Andrew Luck was impulsive when he retired. People said, he was banged up, but right before the season, and that didn't sit right. But isn't his owner arguably as impulsive as any owner in the league? I've seen impulsive GMs that play the game, what we call it, ready, fire, aim, do things without thinking them through. I've seen coaches be impulsive. I've seen owners be impulsive. And at least he had an excuse. He got the hell beat out of him. I would have preferred he didn't retire right before a season. I don't think the Colts have ever really recovered. They've been scrambling since. But basically, if you look at those Colts teams, they're the opposite of today's San Francisco 49ers. They were awful everywhere except quarterback. 11-5, 11-5, 4 Pro Bowls, 11-5, 5 straight years when he was healthy of winning seasons. Yes, when he retired, ticked people off. Yes, it was very short. But you got to understand. You got to understand. Gale Sayers, Terrell Davis, Sandy Koufax. Gale Sayers was a running back. And I know it was more of a running back league. But if you're going to all let compilers in, and I do think in this soft time that, we want to be nicer and we want to, include more people and stuff, which I'm all for. If you're going to do that, because I see it happening all the time in Hall of Fames, well, why can't I fight for great? I don't think Brady goes 11-5, 11-5, 11-5 with one of the worst defenses, O-lines, and no run game. I don't think he does. By the way, his coach, Andrew Luck's coach, who got fired, who he had, has never been given a second job. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.